The night on Cauldreth Prime didn't fall. It bled into existence. Twin suns sank behind the crystal trees, scattering light like shards of red glass across the horizon. The wind carried a faint metallic scent, the kind that always came before something terrible. Inside a small, dome-shaped research outpost, Dr. Mara Ellen worked quietly, her mind wrapped around soil cultures and microbial patterns. To her, science was order, a promise that everything, even chaos, had logic behind it. Then her proximity alarm timed. She frowned. Once, twice, then looked up from her console. Something massive was moving through the forest. Her biocanna pulsed, reading the signal. Large, fast, carnivorous. She zoomed in. The readings made her chest tighten. No natural predator on Cauldreth Prime matched this pattern. Six-limbed, hybrid musculature, radiation traces from synthetic enzymes. This wasn't an animal. Someone had sent it. Her first instinct was to seal the outpost and call for extraction, but she knew better. It would take the Federation 3 hours to respond, and she doubted she had 3 minutes. The outpost shields could hold against wildlife, not a creature designed for war. Mara exhaled slowly. Fear would cloud her judgment, and she couldn't afford that. She'd spent her life studying predators, from the acid shell grazers of Iora 4 to the mist stalkers of Vega Delta. She understood behavior patterns better than anyone in her field. Predators followed instincts. Instincts could be read, and sometimes redirected. Her eyes flicked toward her medical kit. 3 vials of sedative, concentrated nutrient paste, emergency flays. Not much, but she survived worse odds. So she made a choice that would one day echo across the galaxy. She didn't run. She walked outside. The night air was sharp, humming with tension. Every instinct screamed for her to go back inside. But she stood still, not like prey waiting to die, but like someone waiting to be understood. Far in the distance, trees shuddered. Something heavy was moving closer, slow and deliberate. Each footstep pressed into the crystalline ground with a sound of cracking bone. And then, between the red-tinted shadows, she saw it. Vorax. It was worse and more magnificent than any report could describe. Its fur devoured the starlight. Its 6 eyes gleamed like molten glass. Its breath steamed in the cold air, heavy with power and pain. For a heartbeat, neither of them moved. Then Mara did something no predator expected. She spoke. "Hey there, beautiful," she whispered, voice trembling but steady. "Someone sent you to hurt me, didn't they?" No weapon, no scream, no fear scent, just words. And in that fragile, impossible moment, as the most dangerous creature on the planet stuttered the small, unarmed human before it, something ancient shifted between hunter and prey. The hunt had begun, but not the way the Cauldreth planned. Vorax emerged from the forest like a living shadow. Its claws sank deep into the crystalline soil, each movement silent, deliberate, perfect. The creature didn't just walk. It flowed, all power and precision, the very image of death designed in a laboratory. And yet, the human didn't run. Mara Ellen stood beneath the crimson glow, her white lab jacket rippling the alien wind, eyes steady on the approaching nightmare. She had read about fear responses in humans, the adrenal surges, the tunnel vision, the trembling hands, but now none of it came. Instead, she felt an odd calm. Maybe it was acceptance. Maybe it was something else. Vorax circled her, massive head lowered. Its 6 eyes blinked in eerie synchrony, scanning for the fear scent it expected, the biological signature of panic that usually triggered its final strike. But there was none, only the strange, quiet heartbeat of a creature who refused to act like prey. "Beautiful, aren't you?" she murmured softly. "They made you into something you're not." Vorax growled, a sound that shook the air. Its breath came hot and heavy, a warning that one wrong move would mean the end. Still, Mara stayed perfectly still. Then, slowly, deliberately, she reached into a satchel and pulled out a ration pack. The seal hissed open, releasing a wave of concentrated protein aroma. It drifted between them, primal and familiar. The creature hesitated. Instinct screamed attack. But beneath that, somewhere deep within the scars and coding, something flickered, memory. Hunger once satisfied, not through violence, but through care. Mara noticed the pause and seized it. "I'm not your enemy," she said gently. "Those who made you, they hurt you, didn't they? They twisted you into something unnatural." The creature's 6 eyes blinked again. One stepped forward, not aggressive, curious. For the next 3 hours, under a bleeding sky, Mara talked. She spoke not as a scientist, but as something more primal, a voice reaching out to another soul. She told stories of Earth, of wolves that once hunted human but learned to walk beside them. She spoke of trust, of choice, of breaking free from what others expect you to be. Every word was a thread, soft, steady, human. And with each passing moment, Vorax's breathing slowed. Its muscles loosened. The constant vibration of programmed aggression dimmed, replaced by something almost uncertain. When Mara finally took a cautious step closer, she saw them. Scars. Dozens of surgical lines across the creature's massive body. Proof of torment. Proof of control. Her heart ached. "They hurt you," she whispered, reaching out a trembling hand. "But you don't have to hurt others because of it. That's not weakness. That's strength." Vorax's gaze locked with hers. 6 eyes full of confusion, pain, and something dangerously close to understanding. Then, with a low rumble that shook the ground, the beast lowered its enormous head beside her. For the first time in its existence, it chose peace. They built a monster, a living weapon designed to hunt, kill, and erase all traces of a human scientist who'd uncovered their darkest secret. But when the beast found her, it didn't find prey. It found peace. In a universe ruled by fear and programming, one woman faced down a creature of nightmares, not with weapons, but with empathy. What followed defied everything the galaxy believed about humans and about monsters. Because sometimes the most powerful force in the universe isn't technology or rage or war. It's compassion. Hey there, traveler of the stars. If this story stays something in you, drop a like, subscribe for more HFY legends, and share it with someone who still believes humanity's greatest strength isn't power, but heart. Let's dive in. The Cauldreth High Council never raised their voices. They didn't need to. When a race has ruled 3 sectors of the Orion Arm for 5,000 years, silence becomes the most dangerous sound in the room. In that silence, the verdict was passed. Dr. Mara Ellen, human, biologist, explorer, was to be removed. Her crime? Curiosity. 6 months on Cauldreth Prime had been enough for her to uncover what the Cauldreth tried so hard to bury, their genetic experiments, hidden beneath the facade of agricultural research. They weren't improving crops. They were building weapons, living, breathing bioweapons meant to fight their wolves for them. And Mara had proof. Recordings, samples, names, to the Council, that made her a liability, a talking, breathing data leak wrapped in human skin. They couldn't allow her to leave the planet alive. But killing a Federation scientist outright would ignite scandal. So, the plan had to look natural, an accident. That's where Vorax came in. The creature was a nightmare from an abandoned war project, half flesh, half science, born in a vat of cold light. Standing 3 meters tall, covered in fur so black it swallowed the glow around it, Vorax was everything the Cauldreth admired. Efficient, merciless, obedient. Its 6 glowing eyes didn't blink. Its heart didn't hesitate. It was hunger, engineered. The creature had once been caged, labeled unstable, too dangerous even for war. But today, the Council saw use in it again. Deploy it, the High Executor said. The words rippled through the chamber like ice through veins. They released Vorax 50 kilometers from Mara Ellen's outpost, just far enough to make it look like nature had done what politics couldn't. By nightfall, the human would be gone. The creature would disappear back into the wilderness, and no one would ever know. But here's the thing the Council didn't understand, something the galaxy has learned time and time again about humans. You can plan for their weakness. You can calculate their odds. But you can never predict their choices. Because while the Cauldreth trusted programming, humans trusted something far stranger. Instinct, emotion, that irrational courage that drives them to step forward when logic says to run. So as the creature began its hunt, cutting through the crystalline forest like a moving shadow, Mara Ellen, the woman they called insignificant, was finishing her research logs, unaware that something monstrous was already coming for her. And out there, Beneath the twin suns of Cauldreth Prime, destiny began to stir. A weapon was about to meet the one thing it had never been programmed to understand: compassion. When the Cauldreth designed Vorax, they believed they'd erase weakness. No hesitation, no mercy, no conscience. But that night on Cauldreth Prime, as a creature lay in the crimson dust beside a fragile human woman, the impossible happened. The kill protocol flickered. The neural commands embedded deep within its cortex looped endlessly. Terminate target. Terminate target. But something stronger interrupted. It wasn't logic. It wasn't code. It was choice. Mara's hand rested gently on its fur, black as starless space, warm beneath a palm. The creature trembled, muscles twitching in confusion. No one had ever touched it without fear. No one had ever spoken to it without command. And now, this small human was whispering words that defied everything it knew. "You're not a weapon," she said. "You're alive. That means you can choose." Simple words, yet they cut through the programming like light through a storm. Vorax tilted its head, 6 eyes focusing on her face, studying the strange softness there. It didn't understand compassion, but it felt its gravity. The more it resisted, the heavier it became, until the creature simply stopped fighting it. High above, the Cauldreth satellites recorded everything. The Council watched in growing horror as their perfect predator, their symbol of dominance, knelt beside its supposed prey. "Impossible," one of them hissed. "Override the behavioral control." But it was too late. Vorax's neural lattice rejected the commands. It had learned something new, something its creators had never planned for. Defiance born of empathy. Mara didn't know about the surveillance. She only saw a creature in pain. And so, she stayed by its side, speaking softly until exhaustion claimed her. Her head rested against its shoulder, her breathing slow and steady. Vorax watched her for hours, muscles still humming with confusion. The programming demanded action. Kill. But her heartbeat, calm and steady, resonated in its enhanced senses. It was soothing, familiar, somehow. When the night reached its coldest hour, Vorax shifted, not to attack, but to protect. It lowered its massive body around her, curling instinctively to shield her from the alien wind. By dawn, the hunter had become her guardian. When the Cauldreth security team arrived at the outpost, armed with plasma rifles and containment units, they found what no one in the galaxy could have predicted: their weapon sleeping peacefully beside the woman it was sent to destroy. And when they approached, Vorax's growl shook the forest to its core. The soldiers froze. None dared move. The Council's orders were clear: capture both. But looking into those 6 blazing eyes, they felt something older than fear. It wasn't rage. It was warning. The perfect killer machine had made a choice, not to obey, but to protect. And from that moment, the galaxy's understanding of monster would never be the same. The footage spread across the galaxy within days. A classified Cauldreth surveillance file, leaked by someone inside their own ranks, showing the unthinkable: the apex predator, Vorax, asleep beside a human scientist. Its body curved protectively around her, like a guardian shielding a child. Across 100 worlds, people stopped to watch. Soldiers, scholars, even machines. Because what they saw wasn't just impossible, it was human. When the Galactic Federation reviewed Dr. Mara Ellen's final report, they didn't just find evidence of illegal bioweapons. They found something infinitely more dangerous: hope. Her documentation was meticulous: notes, recordings, even biometric readings of Vorax's changing stress levels as empathy rewrote its neural pathways. She argued, with quiet conviction, that the creature was sentient, that it had felt pain, confusion, and choice. And she didn't stop there. She called for the Cauldreth's trial, not for revenge, but for accountability. Because, as she said before the Federation Assembly, if we can teach something born of violence to choose peace, then what excuse do we have for not doing the same? The room fell silent. In that moment, even the most advanced species in the galaxy were reminded of what humanity truly was: not the strongest, not the oldest, but the most dangerous kind of compassionate. The Federation voted unanimously. The Cauldreth bioweapon program was dismantled. Its creators were tried and exiled. Vorax was granted protected status as a sentient being. 6 months later, Mara Ellen published a landmark paper, Empathy as a Neural Override in Predatory Constructs. It became required reading in xenobiology and ethics academies across 20 systems. The photograph that accompanied it went viral, a simple image captured in her lab. Mara working at a desk, coffee cup in hand, while a colossal form of Vorax lay peacefully beside her, one massive paw draped protectively over her boots. No cages, no chains, just trust. That image became a symbol, a defiance, a faith, of the maddening, beautiful unpredictability of humanity. Artists called it the human paradox. Because only humans could create war, and then teach mercy. Only humans could face monsters, and decide to love them instead. Only humans could look at the darkness, and see someone worth saving. And somewhere deep within its reconstructed mind, Vorax dreamed. Of crimson forests, of warmth, of the strange, fearless creature who had looked at it and seen not a weapon, but a soul. For the first time in its existence, the beast was free, not because it had been reprogrammed, but because someone had believed it could be. And as Mara Ellen often said when asked why she risked everything that night, they sent their wolf beast to kill me, but humanity doesn't tame monsters. We heal them. And so, that's how a creature built for destruction found peace, not through programming, but through compassion. Dr. Mara Ellen didn't just save her life that night. She reminded the galaxy what humanity truly is. We build, we destroy, we fight, we forgive, but above all, we choose. Because that's what makes us human. If this story moved you, friend, don't forget to leave a like, share it with someone who still believes in humanity, and subscribe for more tales that remind the stars why humans are legends. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep believing in the paradox that is us.